Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day today. Merciless Vaughn here, back with another Bleach Brave Souls video, and in this one we have a 10th anniversary special limit breaker quest here. So we're going to go ahead and just go over some of the best in slot characters you can use and some substitute characters if you don't have the best ones. Hopefully you enjoy. If you do, leave a like. If you're new to the channel or you have been here for a while, please consider subscribing and help me get to 550 subscribers. I am making my way there. Now with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, this limit breaker quest started pretty much around the time the banner dropped, and we have all the way until the 31st, so we actually do have a few days left to get this done. So if you haven't got it done, be sure to do it. And so let's take a look at the stage rules here. For slot 1, we have mind attribute damage times 2, range attack damage times 2, killer effect times 4, poison, slow, and freeze plus status element here. Interesting. And then here we have heart human enemies that we are going to be going up against. For the slot 2 stages, speed attribute damage times 2, melee attack damage times 2, paralysis burn, and weaken plus. Also going to be going up against power Quincy enemies. Then the slot 3 stages, heart attribute damage times 2, melee or ranged damage units, really doesn't matter, free status elements, and there's going to be mind no affiliation units in here. Okay, pretty interesting. So we're going to go ahead and go over some of the best in slot characters and some substitute ones for these limit breaker quest stages. Alright, so the first character we have here, who I think is probably the best in slot 1, is the new 10th anniversary Ichigo here. He pretty much fits all of the extra bonuses that you're going to be getting from the limit breaker quest stage here. Yeah, he's a range unit, he has the human killer plus, which is obviously great. Another thing is, let's see, he does have all status elements resistance to 100%, so he really won't be immune to any status elements, and he'll really definitely be immune to the freeze plus that is going to be there. Another thing about this unit is he has the new EX skill, which basically maxed out, it gives him 20% berserker, or 30% berserker, excuse me. I think 1 out of 5 it's 20%, I think. So there's that. At full stamina only, he has a reduced strong attack cooldown of 6%, 100% berserker, a base full stamina damage boost of 50%. His frenzy is at +3, bombardment, increased status element chance against humans, weakened defense, long stride, poise, berry, sharpshooter, and the status element spiritual pressure boost 100%. So yeah, overall this is more than likely going to be your best in slot unit to use for that stage. Another unit you can use is this Ikaku here. He should fill pretty much most of the bonuses except for the range one, obviously, because he's a melee unit, so you won't get the bonus range damage, unfortunately. Since there is freeze plus on the ground and other status elements, you do have to be very careful of those, because he is not immune to any status elements, which is unfortunate. He does have a 50% chance to dodge human enemies attacks, which is pretty great. He has no status elements, but he does have the increased damage to enemies not affected by an element 30% here. His frenzy is at +2. He does have guard break, hit hidden enemies, and pierce iron skin. Yeah, so if you don't have the Ichigo, definitely, if you have him, he definitely could be useful, but I'm not sure how difficult these stages are going to be, but we'll take a look and see how hard they are once we jump in there. Another unit you can use is this Holly Bell here. She does fill all of the bonus requirements here. She is also a range unit. No status elements though. But another thing is, she's a guild quest unit. So I mean, unfortunately, you won't get most of her skills here because you're not going to be in a guild quest, and you are losing out on an extra flurry, which is just not very good. She has freeze resistance 100%, but she will still get frozen probably half the time, since it's only 100% and not 200%, and 200% is what you need is to be immune to like any status element plus that is on the field, so just be mindful of that. And just taking a quick look at all the mind human killer units, not a lot to work with here, unfortunately. Honestly, it's just the Ichigo, maybe this Ikaku, more so not really her, but besides that, not really anything else. You could use this guy, but he's old at this point, and he's definitely going to need some dupes to be very usable there. But other than that, yeah, first slot stages are definitely kind of in a rough spot if you don't have the Ichigo. Alright, so for the slot 2 stages here, I think the best in slot character is going to be the Rukia. The only thing is, this Rukia has the Stern Ritter Killer, not the well, it's the Stern Ritter Killer Plus, not Quincy Killer. But just because that weaken plus status element is there, you're definitely going to want to take advantage of her all status element resistance 200%, just so you don't get inflicted with weaken or any other status element that is in there. But she also does have the increased status element chance against Quincy's, which will help proc this damage to frozen enemies. 80% skill more, which will also then proc the status element spiritual pressure boost 100%. And then she also does have the new EX skill as well, which is going to be giving her an extra 35% spiritual pressure boost if she is max rescinded. I believe it's 20% if it's 1 out of 5. I can't remember off the top of my head. Other than that, she does have a Berserker 100% as well. Her Frenzy is at +3. She does have Bombardment 2, Weaken Defense, Long Stride, and Poesia. So even though she doesn't have Killer, she's probably still going to be the best in slot unit you can use. And just looking at all of these speed Quincy Killer units, not a lot of options again. I mean, just looking at the most recent units, this Grimjo here, he is a melee NAD unit, and melee NAD units aren't really all too great in my opinion. But he does have decreased Quincy damage taken 20%. His Bruiser is pretty high at 70%. But he is a Guild Plus unit, and you probably wouldn't want to use him because you're not going to be able to get most of the skills here. His Star Barrier is at +10, but after a while, if you don't get all the hits used up, it will go away, maybe probably a little bit. If you're fast enough, you can probably like have it for that entire stage, but once you go back to him, he won't have it. So there is that. Another one is this guy here, the Iron Nero. He does have the Quincy Killer as well. He is a melee unit, so you won't get any, well, no, wait, it's bonus melee damage, so never mind, you will get the bonus melee damage. My bad, forgot about that. But yeah, Lacerate, 60% Berserker, reduce strong attack cooldown 12%. His Frenzy is only at +1. He does have increased status element chance against power attribute enemies, so that will help proc this Lacerate on the enemies, and you can get this 60% damage inflicted to lacerated enemies. Then you also have the increased speed attribute character ranker damage to status element affected enemies 40%. So these are some options you can use, but other than that, you probably just want to like use your strongest speed units that you have if you don't have the Rukia. That's what I think you should probably want to do. Alright, so for the last stage, which is basically you're going to need a heart, a rank, or a heart no affiliation unit. But range or melee damage doesn't really matter here. An option you can use is this Toshiro here. He does have 2 killers, that being Stern Ritter, no affiliation obviously. He has 2 strong attacks, which is strong attack recharge time -12%, strong attack damage +20%. He's a ranged unit, and he also does have an EX move. Let's see, he does have Havoc, which is great. His Berserker is 70%, pretty high. He's immune to all status elements. His Frenzy is at +2, Bombardment. Increased status element chance against no affiliation enemies, so that will help you proc this status element spiritual pressure 80% boost. And then once you freeze any enemies that are alive, you will have 100% damage to frozen enemies, which is great. You also have this skill here as well. Weaken defense is pretty cool. Long stride. Yeah, probably the best in slot character to use here. Another unit here we have is the Safui Kaname. You can probably get away with using him. I mean, he does have the no affiliation killer. He has drained on all of his attacks, so if you take some damage with him, he will be able to get all that healing, which is great. He will have the increased strong attack damage and increased movement speed up, so if you need to move a little bit faster, he will be able to do that, not just for anybody else on the team though, unfortunately. He does have Frenzy +2, Guard Break, and plus hit hidden enemies. Yeah, there's not a lot of options to use here in this Limit Breaker quest, unfortunately, so I'm just trying to like maybe show some most notable units that you might be able to get away with if you don't have the best in slot ones. Alright, so you do have this guy here who is really old, the 2022 Thousand Year Blood War version of the Ichigo. He has a Soul Shred of Strong Attack Recharge time -14%. He also has Stamina Recovery, so if you take damage with any of the other characters you move in between the stages, you will get a 20% heal, which is, pretty good. Let's see here, his Berserker is pretty low at 40%. He is immune to all status elements, and that is shared at 100%, which is pretty good. So since this isn't at 200%, any status element that you will get inflicted with, that is like the status element plus, it will probably, you'll still get inflicted with it, but it won't be on you for like maybe half the duration, is what I've just pretty much guessing. Frenzy is at +2. Since he doesn't have any status element, he has the increased damage to enemies not affected by element 100%, which is great. Sprinter, Marauder, hit enemies, and pierce iron skin. So yeah, this is a unit you can use. Definitely probably gonna want some dupes in this unit if you do plan on using him, just because he is really old at this point. Alright, so we took a look at some of the best in-slot characters and some substitute ones you can use. I just went on ahead and made my team here. I'm going to use the 10th anniversary Ichigo here. This is pretty much his build. Yeah, just pretty much the same build you will use on any SP unit here. That third accessory slot is really optional, but I do think these first two are just pretty much must-haves. But, you know, it's your character, your build, you can build whatever you want. Strong attack reduction, full stamina damage boost links here. And then take a look in here. He is max Transcendent. I have his Transcendent slots at level 13. These are the max I can get them to. And then my link slots are at level 22 because these are the max level I can get them to. His EX skill is maxed out here because he is max Transcendent, and the bonus abilities that I'm going to use are the full stamina damage boost and the plus 200% SP. So for the Rukia, pretty much the same thing, just different attribute, really. Same links, same accessories, same bonus abilities. Same thing with the Ichigo. These are my max Transcendent slot levels. I can get them to 13, link slot levels 22. Those are the max I can get those to. And then bonus abilities, full stamina damage boost, any plus 200 SP here. And then I'm going to use this Ichigo because I do have a max Transcendent. But another reason as to why is just because if I just so happen to take damage, I'll have this heal here to get back to full stem, since none of the 10th anniversary units have any real way to heal. So just a little safety net for me because I do play a little bit reckless sometimes. Full stamina damage boost and 200% SP are his bonus abilities. This Transcendence is only at level 10 though, just because I didn't want to use the resources to level them up. And his links are level 20. So let's go ahead, jump in here and see what we can do with this team. Alright, so let's go ahead and just use the EX move first, so we can just get that back sooner rather than later. And you can cancel the EX move pretty early, which is good if you just flash step out of it. We'll use that here. Well, so far these enemies are going to be pretty squishy, but we'll see once we get to like maybe around stage 7, 8 is when we get those extremely tanky enemies, then we'll see. I don't see the weaken. I don't see any of the plus status elements yet. They'll probably be there once those tanky enemies come up. But it is a good thing that all the enemies, or all the characters I'm using, are immune to all the status elements, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're just moving through the stages here. Oh, it didn't kill. What? I was probably too far away. Yep, here's the freeze plus status element. They changed the way it looks visually, and it looks really great in my opinion. I do like the freeze plus. You can definitely tell it does look stronger. And you do have to be very careful with these human enemies. They hit so hard so fast. Yep, and this is how the weakening plus looks. It honestly looks cool. It kind of looks like the attacks of the 6th anniversary Aizen. And I guess the renewed version just a little bit. Now we will be freezing these enemies, and then we will get the bonus damage to those frozen enemies here. Now I don't think there's any status element plus in the 3rd slot stages, so I think we should be okay there. Yeah, it's just regular status elements here. But here are the tanky enemies. I should probably use my soul bomb here. Yeah, well, we probably lost the run because I took that damage there. I could have came in here with the Toshiro. I did just wanted that heal, but it probably would have been a good idea because the status element spiritual pressure boost is honestly still good. So yeah, I'll just probably skip to where I kill these enemies. Alright, since I messed up there, that obviously did take a while, but now we just pretty much rotated all the way back to the very first stage here. Now it's just trying to clear it as fast as possible. I don't know. I mean, at first when the enemies not affected by an ailment first came out, I thought it was probably maybe you could argue a bit stronger than the status ailments, but now we're getting characters with like 100% Berserker, 100% status ailment, spiritual pressure boost, and then also like, yeah, it's just very, very stronger now. We do have a minute left here, just try to clear this as fast as possible. But we should be okay for a little bit. Just need to make sure I keep my force down up. And try to stay far back away from the enemies as possible. No, we took damage. Goodness gracious! What the heck just happened? Alright, so I just basically came back in here to do another run because that was just completely unfair in my opinion. So we do have these extremely tanky enemies here, but we do have like 2 superior strong attacks, so we'll be able to kill them. Unfortunately, I took damage in like the same stage as I did before I came in here, so yeah, there's that. Make sure we don't take damage here. Won't have our EX move this time, which is unfortunate. We have, by the time we get it back, and pretty much this will be over, really. No status element spiritual pressure. There it goes. Really would like to have that up, since her EX skill pretty much just revolves around it. But we won't have enough time to clear that next stage. Yeah, not enough time. Alright, so that was my Limit Breaker quest run for the 10th anniversary special. Yeah, definitely there are better slot 3 characters you can use. So this last one is pretty much interchangeably, but the first 2, hate to say it, probably not so much. You're really going to want to need to use these units if you have them. So definitely be sure to use them. That's 3rd slot. And probably just maybe use your strongest heart unit that you have, really. So yeah, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And as usual, until next time.